Welcome back to my channel at The Movie Optimist, where I try and find the silver linings in even the worst of films. We are back yet again with another defense video of James Gunn's DCU. I see a lot of people talking about how up next is Supergirl, and if it doesn't make $1 billion, it's going to be a financial failure. And the fact that I feel the need to have this conversation makes me want to put my head through a wall. But I see a lot of people going to war over this online, on Facebook, on Threads, on Twitter, trying to defend it, trying to, shit on it. And I just need to put my 2 cents in here because I actually worked in the industry and I feel the need to just express what this movie actually needs to do to be successful, just like I expressed what Superman needed to do to be successful. There are a lot of people throwing these absurd numbers out there with Superman that it needed to make $800 million. Again, I worked in the industry. I understand what a movie needs to break even and make a profit. It is a rough and fast rule, but studios roughly follow the 2.5 rule. A movie needs to make 2.5 its budget. It needs to make its budget back, plus another budget, plus the marketing cost, which is usually half, because theaters take 1/3, and there's a whole bunch of other things that go in it. Sometimes it's like 2.6%, sometimes it's like 2.2%, but roughly theaters and studios follow the 2.5 rule. Superman cost $220 million to make. So if you do that 2.5, it needed to make roughly about $550 million to break even. It's going to end its run at like 615, 620, and everyone likes to gloss over this. People think, oh, no one counts the VOD sales towards the box office. Yes, they fucking do. They don't talk about it in the Hollywood Reporter and the New York Times and all these other variety articles and Deadline, but they absolutely count the VOD sales towards its overall success. There are predictions that it's going to make, after its VOD sales, around $700 million. So that is about $150 million worth of profit. And then on top of that, they also count the brand deals that they get. I know this because I worked on a studio lot and I've seen what these people talk about in terms of what they deem successful. So that's going to be like another $50 million on top of that. So this movie is going to profit $200 million. To all the people that still say this movie is a failure, there's one thing that everyone could look to understand that is utter nonsense. And that is that no business is in the business of making product that loses them money. I see so many people after James Gunn announced that a sequel is greenlit, it is confirmed, he's writing it now, and they're going to go into production on it within the next year or so. And people are like, oh, I guess Warner Brothers is eager to just lose more money. That's all they're doing, is they're just going to make a ton of flops that make no money. No, you fucking idiot. No business wants to lose money. And if something that they made lost money, they're not going to go ahead and greenlight making another version of that. You moron. They're doing it because, like I said, it is successful. Moving past that now, Supergirl has a smaller budget than Superman. So it literally needs to make less than $500 million. So the fact that there are people saying, oh, it needs to make $1 billion is absolutely absurd. And I'm telling you right now, to everyone listening, there are Snyder fans that enjoy the Zack Snyder movies and that also love the new Superman. Then there are Snyder fans that enjoy the Zack Snyder films and hate the new Superman, but they're aware and they're respectable of the fact that this just wasn't for me. I'm glad for the people that like it. I don't like it. I love you people. All film is subjective. We're not all going to love the same thing. I hated Fantastic Four. I thought that was a terrible superhero movie wrapped up in a mediocre family drama with no superpowers in it. Regardless, that's besides the point. I love people that could react like that and be sensible. But then there are the Snyder fans that just have this agenda that they're so upset that their universe was canceled that instead of just accepting the fact that it got rebooted, they're doing everything in their path to cripple this new one. It's like, if we can't have our Superman, we can't have any Superman. And that's just such a dumb, toxic, ridiculous thing to do that makes you all a bunch of fucking losers. But that's okay because you're failing, because there's like 2% of you in the overall population of the world and you're not putting a fucking dent into this at all. It's just kind of pathetic watching you all kick and scream and cry and whine over dudes with capes online. Just grow up. But regardless, they're making this agenda out there and trying to push the idea that it needs to make $1 billion, Supergirl, to be profitable. And that is not true. If this movie has less of a budget than Superman, figure it's around $150 million, this movie needs to make like $350 to $400 million to break even. Movies that are well received, which Superman was, maybe not by the diehard Zack Snyder fans, but the overall consensus of critics liked it, and so did the overall consensus of general audience. It's doing well now on VOD. It was the #1 movie on Apple Plus or whatever, wherever you go to rent movies on Apple. It's probably going to be #1 when it goes to HBO. What that does is it gets the people that didn't go to the theater to see it excited to see the next one because they probably skipped out on it, waited to watch it on streaming, and now they're like, oh, this is good, we'll go to catch the sequel. That is literally what happens to every single franchise on the planet. That's what happened with Star Wars A New Hope. The people that didn't see that in theaters waited to watch it at home on home video. They saw it and then they showed up to see the second one. That's what happened with the MCU. With every passing movie, they would make a little bit more, a little bit more. Iron Man came out, made a little bit. Then Captain America came out, made a little bit more. Then Thor came out, made a little bit more, and it would build and it would build and it would build. That's how Indiana Jones did it. That's how Lord of the Rings did it. That's how Terminator did it. The first Terminator came out and actually lost money. Imagine that. We have like 15 of those bitches now, but the first one actually didn't do well. So why did we get a sequel? Because when it went to VOD, it blew up and made its money back in the home video market. And then everyone went and saw Terminator 2 and it made money. Superman is following that pattern. I don't know if it's going to make 600 million, but if it has less of a budget, which is not typical for sequels, usually they have more, if it makes close to the same thing as Superman, that is a colossal win, especially because Supergirl isn't as big of a character as Superman. I think if that movie makes up to at least 500 million, it's going to be considered a smashing success, and they're going to take that to the bank. We're going to get a Superman 2 that's not really a Superman 2 as much as it's a team-up movie of Superman and Supergirl. That's going to make even more money, probably like $700 to $800 million. Then we're going to get a Wonder Woman movie, which is probably going to make a little bit more. Then we're going to get a Batman movie that's going to make a little bit more, and then we'll get a Justice League movie. And if they're all good, if they're all well received and popular amongst critics and audience members, then Justice League will probably be the first billion-dollar DC movie. And then in between all that, we have things like Peacemaker and The Lantern Show coming out, and a Clayface movie that's being made for change you find in the sofa of your couch. It's getting made for like $20 to $30 million, which is like nothing for a DC superhero movie. Probably going to introduce us to Batman, which it's going to boost its box office haul. And as long as we keep getting quality, it's going to keep going up, because that's what happens with successful movies with their sequels. It is proven time and time again. Go and look at any trilogy of films that you like. I guarantee you, look at The Dark Knight. Look at Batman Begins. Made like $350 million. The Dark Knight made $1 billion. You know why that happened? Because people watched Batman Begins on home video after not seeing it in the theater, because a lot of people were like, oh my god, Batman and Robin was awful. They realized how good it was, and everyone then showed up for The Dark Knight. That is exactly what's going to happen with Supergirl, and if you don't think that, you're an idiot, and you don't know how the business works. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. How do you think Supergirl is going to do? Do you think that Superman was actually successful? Or are you one of the people that disregard math and logic and business and how it all works, and you're just going to keep pushing your stupid agenda that this movie needed to make $1 billion and it was a total flop because you're just a big stupid idiot? Let's talk about it in the comments down below, and as always, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you next time.